I came across something interesting in my research in trucking history, and I wanted to share it with my viewers on this channel. It's the help wanted job listings from the Chicago, Illinois newspaper from the date March 1st, 1951. I only wanted to show you the positions being offered by the trucking companies since that's what we talk about here. The first ads I came across was for rate clerks. One was from Gordon's Transports Incorporated. Their terminal, shown here in this street view, was at 4100 West 52nd Street. This is an aerial view of that terminal from many years later. This is a street shot of the same terminal, showing the two-story office part where the rate clerks would have worked. The other ad for a rate clerk was at BMAC Transport Company at 2535 West 35th Street. This 64-door terminal could have been the largest one the company had. The next job openings probably were for the same type of work, but with two different names from two different companies. A biller was wanted at Central Wisconsin Motor Transport, and the terminal address was 2029 West Hubbard Street. This view is looking down in an aerial shot of the building. This street view of the same address is after the building itself was demolished, leaving only the concrete platform that once saw freight being moved onto trucks. Central Wisconsin Motor Transport used this terminal at least from 1943 to 1960, based on the job opening ads that I was able to see from the newspaper. Funny thing about this address, several companies used it through the years. In 1939, Midway Transit Company was located there. In 1942, a company called Northwest Truckways. In 1943, there was a company called Chicago Cartage Company. And in 1944, a company called Helzer Cartage Company. Yellow Transit used it for a year when they first expanded into Chicago and used it as a temporary terminal until their new 36-store terminal was built at 3201 South Iron Street a year later in 1948. The last company to use this terminal that I can find was APA Transport. The other billing clerk opening was for Campbell 66 Express at their Chicago terminal at 412 West 37th Place. ABC Freight Forwarding Corporation had an opening for a clerk at 22 West Roosevelt Road. An over, short, and damaged, or OSD clerk, was needed at Denver Chicago Trucking Company. Their Chicago terminal was at 3030 South Ashland Street in 1951. Denver Chicago was also advertising for freight checkers as well. The previous three addresses over the years were redeveloped into residential areas, and in the case of the DC terminal, it was in the way for the Stevenson Expressway, which later was known as Interstate Highway 55. Mechanics were needed in Roby, Indiana for Rogers Carthage Company at 1099 Indianapolis Boulevard. Roby became Hammond, Indiana. Two different positions were offered by the Willett Company at 700 South to Plain Street. If you wanted to be a mechanic apprentice and learn the trade, then they wanted applicants. Willett also sought semi-drivers for local work. Speaking of drivers, Trans-American Freight Lines had openings at their terminal at 1130 West Cermak Road. Again, these addresses have been redeveloped over the years, and there's no evidence of any trucking companies being there now. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this, leave a comment. If you're not a subscriber, I hope you'll consider being one, and we'll have another video shortly. Bye.